Wind keened out of the north as they hauled in the last catch, whipping white froth on wave caps and whistling past the rigging. The sky was green, air tangy with the coming storm, waves slip-slapped against the Calliope's hull. The winch groaned under heavy nets. Not heavy enough, Jess thought, as the nets slopped onto the deck, spraying water and scales, a quarter of what his father had caught on a good day. The off-season would be lean. He glanced away with a frown, rubbing his hands together against the bite of the wind.
"Jesus!"
Colin shouted. Jess turned back to the net, followed his mate's wide-eyed stare to a pale line among the glistening dark mass of cod. He took a step closer. Smooth flesh, marbled blue-green, the curve of a thigh, the angle of a knee, a woman's leg. "Christ," Jess seconded, crouching beside the net. He knotted his fingers in the wet nylon and tugged. Writhing fish slid away from a face smooth as ivory. Dark tendrils of hair clung to her cheeks, tangled with net and fins. Stormlight lent an unreal cast to her skin. He reached out one scarred hand. She stirred, wide green eyes opening. Jess's heart jerked as he nearly lost his balance. Then she hissed, bearing a mouthful of needle teeth, and he fell hard on his ass. His boots slipped on the wet deck as he scrambled back. Colin cursed and jumped away. Jess could only stare, his tongue gone numb. The woman stared back, eyes huge, pupils crescent-shaped. She pressed a hand against the net, splaying clawed, webbed fingers.
"Mother of God,"
Colin muttered, moving behind Jess. He crossed himself, then reached for the knife at his belt. The woman hissed again.
"Put that away,"
Jess said. He found his balance, crawled closer. The deck pitched. The storm was coming. He showed her his open hands, careful as he might with any wild animal. The net had scraped her arms raw, and the abrasions wept watery blood.
"I'm not going to hurt you,"
he murmured, reaching for his own knife. Her eyes flickered, but she didn't move. Nylon parted under the blade. There'd be hours of mending later. Fish slithered through the gaps, slapping his hands and boots. When the hole was big enough, he stepped away to give her room. Her eyes flitted from Jess to Colin and back again as she crawled out of the net, landing on her hands and knees amid flopping cod. No mermaid tail, just lean, muscled legs and wide, webbed feet. Her hair clung like sea wrack, scales shining like sequins amid its tangled, dark length. Something gleamed in her left hand. She tried to stand, but her feet tripped her up and her legs gave way. Jess sheathed his knife and knelt beside her.
"Are you hurt? Do you need anything?"
It took a second to recognize the low sound she made as laughter.